Welcome to Laurie's Little Studio. I'm Laurie, and today my daughter Candice and I have this in front of us. She's going to open some packages. Okay, Candice. Wow, those are cute. Okay, so tomorrow, Saturday, Candice and Jessica and I are all going to be decorating little tiny pumpkins, and I will film some of that. Okay, and I will, of course, link these items below in the description box. Yay, I decided to go with a Mr. Pen glue gun because you might recognize this one. I purchased at a Walmart in Wetumpka, Alabama about 4.5 years ago, and the new one was from Amazon with glue sticks. So we'll be using these in our pumpkin project. I don't think there's anything else in there, but there might be something. Oh, the rosebuds.
Oh, pretty.
Or little tiny flowers. Yeah, I was going to go with rosebuds, and they just didn't have enough. But I thought these little straw flowers would be really cute on our pumpkins. And yesterday, Candice and I went to Jardin Fabrics, and I bought a package of Spanish moss and 3 spools of ribbon. I think all of those items were on sale, and that would have been October the 6th of 2022. So if you choose to go to Joann, you might even have another coupon that you can use. And now for the big thing. Since Candice was a little child, I'll say, I've been looking for this particular sampler. And I finally found it at a reasonable price on Etsy. At least that's what I believe this is. And I would say that I would link it below. I can link the shop from the Etsy shop that I purchased it from, which is the Vintage Hutch Finds. I believe they're located in Maine. I will put the link for that shop below. Looks like she's packaged it in a really cute little Ziploc bag with smileys and hearts. And it's folded. I would prefer it not to be folded, but what are you going to do? Yay! Okay, and this is called French General Jardin de Fleurs. I love it.
It's gorgeous.
As far as samplers go, it's like my jam. And also, I am looking for the right shade, the correct red floss. In like the 1800s, it was called Turkey Red, and I think DMC has a comparable color, and I'm going to check that out. I might just buy one skein, and if I like the color, then I will be using it on this sampler. So there you have it. The fabric is so soft. It feels like pure linen. Yeah, it is 100% linen, and it is printed with permanent ink. So if you're planning to do this, be aware this is a permanent color. It won't come off. Even after you've finished and you've washed, it will still be there. So if you use white, you'd have to use like a full 6 strands to get coverage. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. In the meantime, today's kind of a big day for Candice and Rob, and we're just going to kind of take it easy as far as filming goes. But I will be back to film the pumpkins tomorrow, and then I'll start on the sampler. I have this in front of me, and what I'll be doing is some embroidery. If you're familiar with embroidery, you will usually have a hoop of some sort. I would really like a nicer hoop, but for the time being, this is the one that I have. It's just a plastic hoop with a screw that tightens or loosens this outer ring. Okay, I also have a needle keep. These are not necessary, but they're very nice. It's a 2-part system. This has a magnet on the back. This is a magnet, and it just connects like that. And then if I choose to put my needle on my work, I'll use a giant needle to show you. It will stay. So while they're not necessary, they are a lot of fun. You can get them in all different shapes and sizes. You could even make one. I believe I ordered this on Amazon. I'll try to remember where I bought it, and I will link it below this video down there in that description box. So I have that. And then you have whatever it is that you plan to embroider, and in my case it is this. It is Le Jardin, and it's called French General, and I've wanted to do this for a very long time. It's a sampler, and I'm just going to do this portion. I don't really know what this, if you know what these pieces over here on the side are for, please drop a comment below. My daughter Candice sort of thought maybe they're for practice, and maybe they are. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to figure out what I can do with them. I'm going to make this very rustic when it's framed, and I could honestly just, because you have to trim this away. You can't me personally, I don't think I would feel comfortable just leaving French General printed all around the outer edges. So I'm just going to cut once it's done, not before. I might even do a little bit of this stitch and then fold this under instead of cutting, and maybe even stitch that down along that line that has the dotted very outer edge line right there. Just fold that under. I don't know yet because it will be framed. And then just sort of casually add these two side pieces across the top or the bottom or something. I just at this point I don't know, but this right here is my main focus. This part right here. It's on linen, which is beautiful. Anchor, the floss that I purchased yesterday at Joann Fabrics. They have it with all the other floss. And this one is color 1005, and the tag across the front on the display said garnet, I believe. But these are the numbers. It has 4735 right here. 4735, and then color 1005. So one may be a run number and a color number is the other one. Anyway, it is 6 strands of floss on a spool, and I bought 2, and each one left as a 6-strand piece is 10.9 yards. So there's those 2. And of course you're going to need a needle. So what type of embroidery needle do you use for embroidery? Well, embroidery needles are sharp. They're not rounded like a ballpoint needle would be. They have an elongated oval eye, and it's generally going to be larger than a just normal standard sewing, hand sewing needle would be. The reason for that is it's going to have to handle multiple strands of embroidery floss. So the reason it needs to be sharp is you want it to be able to pierce the fabric, not just push the fibers aside. It's too difficult when you're doing a project like this to have your needle meet resistance. So a sharp needle will just go right on through. I don't know if I have a ballpoint needle in my collection. I think most of these are sharp. Yes. Okay, so there are really good needles. DMC, I'm not affiliated with DMC. I'm not sponsored by DMC, but they do make a good needle. They have the background, I guess, for working with embroidery flosses. So that would probably be a good choice if you're unsure. Gold-plated or gold eye needles, and I think Clover makes gold eye needles, are a little bit easier to thread. Another choice for a good needle to use is a tapestry needle. They will have a rounded tip, and generally speaking, when you're doing cross stitch, or you could be doing embroidery on cross stitch fabric, which is almost always an even weave. If you look at cross stitch fabric, you'll be able to see almost a grid. You have to look pretty carefully, but it's called even weave for different projects on different fabrics that can be an even weave. Some fabrics are not an even weave. I generally prefer to use, if I can find them in my stash, a chenille needle. They have a long, large eye, and they are sharp on the end. This is a chenille needle. I've got to find something that will allow me to show you There, maybe that'll work. Yeah, there's a needle. It's a chenille. It has a long, large eye, and it has a sharp point. So I would say this is a very good size embroidery needle for this project. Well, I thought I had a delivery, but apparently I did not. So anyway, I was going to show you my little system here. You can either keep this in the area that you're working like this, and then your needle will just stay right on this area where you're working. You could have it out in like this area that's not in the hoop. I think the problem with that is you're more likely going to brush it, and if you did, you might knock it to the floor. So I just keep mine right here. My plan for this project is to split my floss into 3 separate pieces of 2 strands of floss. And I'm going to do an outline stitch on some, and I'm going to do a filling stitch on others. There are French knots and there are colonial knots, so there'll be different sizes of knots used. These right here are colonial, and where are the, in the center of these little flowers are French knots, and there's another, oh, that box right there, these little circles are also French knots. So soon I will get busy on it. Okay, so I am going to measure off about anywhere from 18 to 20 inches of the floss off of this spool, like so. And then you just split your floss. A lot of times, if it's really curly, I'll iron it, but I don't think I need to iron this particular floss. I think it is in good shape. Now the best way, of course, is to strip it completely one by one. So you'll just take one strand and pull. I actually managed to pull 2. Let's start from the other end. I'm kind of spreading it out with the eye of my needle. Okay, here's one. So I'm just going to pull it from the end. Get that to focus. Okay. So I'm just going to do this. And you'll end up with that. And just kind of let it fall back and choose another one to pull. And all 6 pieces of floss are now separated from each other. Alright, and then I'm going to put them back together in sets of 2, or yeah, sets of 2. So I have 2 over here, and I'll choose 2 more. And I'm just laying them kind of flat over there. And here's another one. That should be the last. So I have 3 sets of 2 strands, oops, of floss. so right here is where I will be doing that colonial knot. I will come up through the center of that little circle. Rethread my needle since I just pulled it out. Okay. Alright. Now, for me, the way I do this is I will make a backwards C, like so, with my floss. I'm going to take my needle and lay it on top of this backwards C and then pick up the top, like so, so that it's looped over my needle. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, so let's do that again. Backwards C, lay this on top, slide it under to pick up the floss so that it's resting on top of my needle. I'm going to take this floss right here and loop it over so that I have sort of a bit of an 8, a figure 8, like that. And then I'm going to pull the left and it kind of loops over my needle. Alright, and I'll pop it right back through the center, not in the same hole, but close to it. And I'm going to pull this over here. I need to pull out the slack. So I'm just holding a little bit of pressure there. And then I just let it go. And I have, okay, so it's a little difficult to see, so I think what I'll do is take a picture, and then of course I'll just pop that picture up. Alright guys, so today I'm going to put this away for a little while. I did finish the inner stitches that I was doing the couching stitch on, and I've started working on the outer petals. And this, of course, I think I'm going to try to do a series of, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking either French knots, colonial knots, combo, something along those lines. I want it to stand out like an actual peony would look. So, but today, one day early, I had this arrive. I think I mentioned I've been wanting to do a little painting. So I haven't actually opened this box. It arrived in a box with a whole bunch of other things from Amazon. And I will try to link this down below this video in that description box that falls right before comments. So here we go. I'm going to open this up. And as you can see here, it says 45 pack. It's a Kohotech acrylic paint set. It's not like a huge, you know, high-level paint product. But for the tiny studio that I'm currently in, this is just what I needed. So let's just take a look. We have a canvas board. It's a little bigger than what I was looking for, but that might work. These are probably the paint brushes, and I really appreciate it when a company takes the time and the effort to pack the paint brushes in this type of a situation. So it comes with a sponge. It comes with what some people would refer to as a paint spreader. It is basically a knife. The paintbrushes all have a slot in the case here. This is elastic and this is like a little pouch. This side, some of the round brushes are covered with the little plastic tubes. I really don't like the plastic tubes because they're just garbage. They end up in a landfill somewhere, so I try to hang on to them. But, you know, And I didn't even really purchase this for the brushes. I need new brushes, so I'm not disappointed, but I honestly forgot that it was gonna actually have this many brushes. This is ridiculous. Wow. This is a hanging handle so that when you zip it up, you have a place to hang it for travel. But anyway, so it's a decent selection. This is a super soft brush, but as you can see, it's kind of been mushed. These bristles right here are really messed up. I probably won't use it, but that's okay. Might use it for something. These brushes are decent. They're the really soft, fluffy brushes. Okay, so there's that. We have us a little thumb palette. That's nice. Let's find English if it's available. User guide, okay. Here is a little bit of a little tutorial on how to mix up some colors. Tells you that it comes with 24 vibrant acrylic paint colors in the little small tube size. More plastic. Okay, it comes with 15 high quality Taklon art brushes, the brush travel case, a mixing scraper, which is this right here, a painting sponge, a paint tray palette, and 2 8x10 blank art canvases. Okay, so there was one on the bottom as well. I actually had kind of thought that I would do half this size, but I guess this will fit within the confines of my camera, so that will work. Okay, let's take a look at our paint. One of the harder greens to come by, Hooker's Green, Titanium White, Phthalo Blue, Mars Black, that's nice. Usually this type of tray would have lamp black and not a gray, so there's a gray. Alright, now I brought in a little jar of water and a roll, about a half a roll of paper towels. So here we go. I'll need to open this. I do not have my pencil. I have a pencil, but it's not my drawing pencil. I forgot to bring it in here. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the canvas. I want it to have sort of a wintry background. But I know that my owl will be, most likely, will have little ears. You know how their ears kind of look like little cat-like ears. And I want that to be about the same, so I'm going to measure like that. And he's going to be a little stylized, so we're going to pull his forehead down. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay. Maybe. Let's see if I turn this light on, that might help. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so here's like the tip of one ear, and here is the tip of the other ear. Maybe. Yeah, okay. And then this will come down, this will come down. These are going to swirl into like an owl eye. Yeah, I don't know. Like so. Now, he needs to be perched on something. Most of this is going to just disappear, and I'll have to come back and redo, you know, his, let's see, this needs to be, alright, so I'll hold this up so you can kind of see. And of course, his eyes, what did I do with my pencil? I had it in my hand 2 seconds ago, and I just literally don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. Okay. His little eyes will have highlights that will end up being like around here, a little here, and potentially here. And then this one will have a little highlight area here, a little bit of a highlight here, and then kind of a big rectangular spot there. Like so. I think make his toes a little bit more claw-like on that side. Okay, so let's look at the colors. Okay, so I kind of wanted to do fall colors that are not simply Halloween colors. So my plan is to take some crimson red. What type of paint? Okay, so they're already open. You don't have to pierce the top of these in order to open them. I definitely need some titanium white. We'll put the titanium here. I don't want this to get too dry on me, so I'm not going to put a whole lot of colors out. I really want some dark blue. I might go phthalo blue and burnt umber. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and because I don't want my paint to dry out too much, I'm not going to put that much on my palette. I'm going to put a little bit of water right here for this particular color. Okay. And I do want my brush to be wet. Oops. It's been a while since I've painted with acrylics. And I'm just going to do the crosshatch like so. I like the way that looks. And I'm using little strokes because it's a little painting. That's not always the case, but in this particular case it is. I got paint on my to my desk, which is fine. I'm not going to be too upset at that. Alright, so I think I'm going to, as weird as it sounds, I'm going to use some of the Flesh tint because it's in that shade of brown that I would like. I might have to darken it up a little, but I'll just throw some of this yellow ochre in the next little tray to blend if I need to. Alright. And I'm going to use this angle brush. Yeah. Alright. We're going to pick up. That's still wet. What I want to do is I want to sort of swoop this, and I'm trying to decide if I want to swoop it. Well, we'll just have to give it a go. I'm going to have to add some water. It needs to be about like calligraphy ink. Just for some flow. Probably going to have to redo the black lines, but at least now I won't lose them. I'll know where they are. It looks a little horrifying at the moment, I realize, but I still see a vision in my mind. So I'll talk to Caroline and I'll be back later. Okay guys, I'm back. I had a couple things I needed to do, and I had to wait for this to dry a little bit more. So while I was waiting for all that to happen, I went ahead and rinsed off my little palette and freshened up my water. Okay. So now I need to, I think I'll use this to draw a circle. And if you don't want to use pencil, you can always use chalk if you need to do something similar. Okay. And it doesn't have to be heavy-handed. You're just kind of sketching it out. You'll be able to see. Okay, so that needs to be black. And we're just going to use this little paintbrush here. And I find if I have to paint a circle like this, I can kind of go around the outer edges about halfway, and then outer edges again. I did add water to this paint to make it like an inky consistency. Alright, edge right there. There we go. Alrighty. Now, I think what I'll do is wipe off most of this black paint and then use the water. Okay, I want to build out my little owl body. like this brush here and this black paint. Oops. And I'm going to paint this tree branch here. Look what just happened. Very inexpensive, and that's okay. I wasn't expecting high quality for the price I paid. Alright. I do need a bit more black. Black, I guess. Well, I might actually use gray mixed with the black I still have on my palette. I've switched to this little angle brush. Gotta let that dry. Boy, I think I left my camera running for like 2 hours, so I'm gonna have to come back and figure this out. But as you can see, it's changed a little bit. I've added a little bit more of the brights. I've drawn some defining black lines in the forehead feathers. Worked on the eyes a little bit. I've still got some extremely fine line painting to do, but I need to pack it up for the night, so we're going to leave little Owl here for this evening. There, that shows those little fine lines. So I'm going to work on his little beak tomorrow. I need to do a little bit more with the eyes. I might add some fine lines here and there. I'm not going to spend too much time on all those little details because he's just a quick little painting. I did kind of add some, let's see if I can figure out how to, no, well, yeah, you can kind of see where I have added some white highlights to the tree branch. If we look at this upside down, okay, so yeah, so there we go. So I'm just going to pack it in for the night, and I'm probably going to go ahead and try to get this video wrapped up and uploaded and available for everyone to see. I want to mention real quick before I sign off for this evening, yesterday I was granted, I guess, YouTube permissions to use the community tab, which if you look at my, if you go to my YouTube page, there, I'll pop a picture up of what it looks like. You can read what I have put there so you'll know what I'm doing. Okay guys, so this is my last bit of the video. So I've kind of decided to name him Murano Owl because if you've ever seen Murano glass looks like this. So I kind of like it. I like the way it's turned out. But I do have a couple things that I need to do, and I'm going to, I don't know what I did with my palette. I think it's out in the kitchen. So I'm just going to use little blobs of paint on top of this, which is aluminum foil. And not very much because I don't really need very much, but I wanted to work on the eyes just a little tiny bit. So I'm just putting a little tiny bit of paint on the tip of my paintbrush right there. I think I'll sign it with white right down here, And you know me, I've made it a policy once I sign, I don't do anything else. So at this point, I have to be happy or forget it. And I think Murano is done. There we go. There we go. Why can't I get it to focus? There we go, signed. And here's little Murano, being a little Murano owl that I will probably frame. I'll look for a little frame that I can put him in. I don't think I'll put glass on it. Anytime I do anything with acrylics, I don't put any kind of glass on the front because, whoops, the paint will stick to the glass, and if I ever have to change it, the painting would be basically destroyed. So I usually just do an open frame. I have had other people frame my paintings and put glass, but so far none of them have been removed from that setting. They haven't been taken out of the frame. Okay, so Murano is done. I'm going to take my white, linen white, whatever it is, chalk paint, and fix this real quick. Don't forget to check out the community tab. Now that I have access to that, there will be information there more often than not, I believe. That's my plan. See what happens. And I hope that you liked this video. Don't forget to have fun if you're painting, or if you're doing some embroidery, or just however your crafting is going. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.